which stories you want to share. So we're really excited to hear from the hub, and perhaps there's some time for some questions.
Yep.
And there may be some questions related to the municipality work as well, based on the discussions with Gabby just now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll let you kick off.
Okay, I would share my screen. So Heidi has just told you we had a meeting. We had our hub meeting, and I asked the members of the hub what they think we should present today at the meeting here. So I would like to give you a little bit of an insight of our work. So this is the hub kind of, and we are now working on people from Spain, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Argentina, Germany, and Luxembourg. So we are an international hub, and like we also like Spain, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, and Germany developed also the workbook. So this is kind of which countries are a part of the municipality hub. And so when I asked the others, we said we would like to give you an insight what we did about the workbooks, about our ESO qualification or the certification about consultants of municipalities, and then next steps, what we are planning to do in the hub. And we would like to invite you to join, work with us, and to think with us about the municipalities. So this is really a short insight, our stories to tell. So we have right now 2 workbooks, just for you, for your orientation. We developed the workbook version 2.0, and this is the workbook which is internationally now the workbook for the balancing sheet process of municipalities. So this is kind of a common understanding of the hub and also the participants of the hub from the different countries, that this is also is our kind of international workbook. For example, David in Spain, they adjusted their workbook especially for this workbook. So we decided on how should we work together and how do we adjust it internationally. So this is our version 2.0, which is internationally now the workbook. And then we decided, and we told the others and the municipalities that this is our workbook and we are working with it, and we are kind of testing the workbook because we didn't have really a workbook before. We had the version 1.0, but this was kind of an adaptation of the workbook of the companies. So this was really hard to balance communities or municipalities with. So this is kind of what we decided on, and we decided on that we stick to the 5 values, because for addressing municipalities is different to address solidarity and social justice. It's not the same like in companies. So we decided we stick to the 5 values, and we kind of match them with state principles of common good, to show the municipalities that we are working also in a legal frame. And so this is the kind of the workbook which is now working. We are working internationally with municipalities when we address them with balance sheet processes. Then we decided, because we did the new approach of the workbook, we said we will gather information and approaches and advices from the balancing processes. So we decided to kind of do a pilot project on behalf of the matrix development team of municipalities for the DACH region. So we developed a new approach, or like not a new approach, but an approach to make it easier for the municipalities to do the balancing process. So we have now the version 2.1.a, and we decided we sticked to the whole process or to the whole values, but we kind of deleted in the supplier, in the kind of stakeholder group, the suppliers, the outsourced independent establishments. And we also in C, we also deleted political leadership, because we thought we will focus there on the administration. So this we changed, and then we did also some changes, and we decided we have guiding principles in the workbook, and we have, most of the time we have in the aspects 2 guiding principles, and the communities can discuss and decide on one principle. They have to report deeply, and the others, they have just to report a little bit and inform about the others. So they have we want to make it for municipalities easier to go into the process, so they have kind of a guiding principle that they can choose, and then the other, they can decide just to report on it. And we also put indicators and the 5 evaluation levels in the new workbook. So we have sample indicators they can choose for reporting, or they have self-chosen indicators for their reports. And we had before, we didn't have a 5 evaluation level like the company workbook, and this we changed that we can have a equal system in evaluating municipalities. So this is kind of what we are working now on, or this is done. And we have for the process, we have in the DACH region a new version, and we can work for the DACH region with the new version and can adapt it then internationally. But I come to this later. The timeline is that we have 2026, we have the piloting of the project and upscaling, and then internationally. Then we also had the question about the last 2 years, who is doing the consultancies for municipalities. So we decided we would like to work together with ISO certification. So we developed a new program and a new curriculum for ISO certification of municipality consultants. It's a pilot project because we wanted to do it internationally, implement it internationally, but this was not the right time to do so. So we decided to do a pilot project in the DACH region. And we just finished kind of the curriculum last year of the East. It's ISO conform. And we had 2 training programs in Germany and Austria for consultants, municipality consultants. And we are right now discussing upscaling and harmonization internationally for the ISO certification program. So the consultancies, they have the ISO certification, and now we would like to have it also kind of agreed on in the movement that this would be the qualification of the consultants. So this is about consultants. And our next steps, so I'm really short today. So we just developed rules of procedure for the municipality hub. And we decided that we would like to have just one hub, not a hub of auditors, not a hub of a matrix development team, not for education. So we would like to have just one hub. So we decided, or not we decided, we just discussed the rules of procedure on Tuesday, that we would have one hub. And we would like to have national hubs, and we have our sub-hubs. We have sub-hubs, Spain, Italy, Germany, or the DACH region. We have sub-hubs, and we just discussed with Renee in Argentina on Tuesday whether we should have also, or they want to form with David a hub for Spanish speaking, or how we do this. So this would be, and that we don't separate the hub, but we have like a main hub for international reasons and issues to develop on municipalities. Then we have national sub-hubs for the specification for national issues. And then we would like to work on in focus circles when we want to develop the matrix newly, the training, and not to separate in hubs, but we work in one hub and do like for international and national level. We would like to work on focus circles, but this we discussed on Tuesday. Then we would like to harmonize internationally the training program. It's right now, it's a pilot project in the training in the DACH region. We would like to internationalize this, to harmonize it with Spain, especially because they have already a training program, and to look how we can harmonize it and make it that we have a certification, because the municipalities are asking for certification, not just the inner certification from the ECG movement. They also want to see other certifications when they have like a public procurement. And so we thought it's really interesting to do an international harmonization. Then we would like to scale up the workbook 2.1a internationally. So it's just a pilot project. And then we would like we discussed this and decided when we have the pilot project done, we would like to discuss it internationally to scale it up as the workbook internationally. Then we are discussing to develop an audit system, because right now we don't have an audit because we don't have people to audit municipalities. So we have a system, a model that we have a MET review, but no audit. So we have to think about the audit system for municipalities. Then I just added in our discussion update wiki. Yeah, so I just added this because you said we should do this. That's our next steps. Then we would like, right now we are thinking to develop a digital tool for the workbook, because in the county, in the region of like the balance sheet process of the region Marburg-Biedenkopf. We are using, like the administration, they decided to do it in a digital tool. So we transformed the whole workbook in a digital tool, and the administration is working with this. And this was kind of a thinking process. How should we develop a digital tool for the workbook for municipalities that makes them easier to go to the balancing process? So this is kind of a new idea. We would like to have a consultant meeting internationally of all consultants for municipalities, international of the ECG movement. We're thinking about 2025. And we are looking for new members for the hub. And now we are talking with Latin America. We have a meeting with Japan, Netherlands. So all these countries who are kind of addressing municipalities, we would like to have them and join with them in the hub. So this was the insight. This is a picture I just put in when we developed the first workbook, the version 2.0. We met in Munich all over the place and decided the Spanish, Italian, all the people, and Germany, Austria, we joined and worked really hard on the development of the new workbook. And David is not on the picture. It's a colleague from David. And then at the next meetings, David joined us. Thank you very much. Questions and comments?
Thank you, Anke. That's really positive to hear. I love the idea of merging all the elements, so bringing everything together for one hub makes sense, and then you don't have this disjointed kind of progression.
This was the idea.
Yeah. And I like what you said during the panel as well, where you said, and we all get on. So that's great. So it's working well. Yeah.
We were the municipality hub, and then we decided to develop a workbook, a new workbook, or a workbook which serves for the balancing process for municipalities. And then we had another hat, and then we were the matrix development team for municipalities. And the next meeting we were the hub municipalities. So we decided, okay, we can go on like this, but just name it differently, or like figure it out in the structure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And you mentioned you have this pilot for the ISO standards, the international standards. Do you have a plan for when that might be expanded beyond the DACH region?
We would do it whenever it's possible.
Yeah.
We talked on Tuesday also with Luciana, and so it was because we had a big discussion, because this was our idea 2 years ago to do so, and have an external certification, because for municipality consultants, it's like you have to prove things differently than with companies. So this was the idea from Austria too, because they had a good experience with the ISO certification company. They worked with them. And so we decided to do so, but we had a hard discussion internationally that we give our common knowledge to a company. So this was a big discussion. So this was the reason why we decided we want to do this, and we do this for the DACH region. And we would like to scale it up. But we have to discuss this also with David in Spain, because they already have a training program. And I think it's really important not to just to push it away. So to kind of talk about how can we align it, and is it useful? And this was the reason why we choose the ISO standard, because it's internationally accepted. And so we are in the hub, we are discussing how to align it, and whether it's useful for David, or Renee is also asking, is it useful for Argentina? So we have to discuss this, and we would like to discuss this in the hub. But we would like to sure we have really good experiences, and we have now we had the curriculum, it was done, and we had the evaluation of the participants, and also the evaluation of the curriculum, and we Ulrike and Gebhard and Philip and Mattis, they kind of refurnished, of kind of put some things away, and so we have a new curriculum, or like an how do you say it? It's aligning it with the usefulness of teaching and the training program.
Okay, so like a revamp and a
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and then the ISO is confirmed everything, so it's fine. And Joseph and me, we are kind of the people who are for the ISO, the people who are kind of taking the exams, but it's not a high level thing. It's just a talk and look at how. So this is the idea, but I think it's really important to align it with the other experiences in the other countries. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think you're right. And then you also talked about going digital to
Yeah.
make the process simpler.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big ask across the movement. And there's been a lot of work on digital solutions for the matrix for businesses.
I
Is
know.
there anything you can do to leverage that work that's already been done or piggyback off it?
I know that the balancer and everything. I know this all because I also do consultancies for companies a lot. But for municipalities, it's so different.
Mm.
We have or not. It depends on the size. The challenge right now was at the municipality or like the county municipality of Marburg-Biedenkopf that they have. I don't know. I just wrote a thing about it. They have 40 different. Um, organizational structures. So they have a Fachbereich there and there and there. So it was really hard to get the information of all the different areas in one report. So we
Mhm.
decided to have workshops with to the focus groups or to the stakeholder groups, and then we put together, I don't know, 40 people together in one workshop, and they all kind of joined to get the information, the whole information of the whole administration. And we couldn't do this just by boards. So like
No.
one person
Mhm.
in the administration, he's really fond of digital solutions. He used an internal board to put it into a digital solution, and it's great. It's really great.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we designed it, and I was kind of the part of the ECG, and he was the digital counterpart, and so he designed it. And now we have the possibility, we have the workshops, and then they start and can talk to their colleagues, and now they enter all the information in this tool, and then we can read it out in a report, and it's great. It's really, I
Yeah.
think, I hope it works. We are
Yeah.
still in the process, and this was the reason why we decided, but to do a light version,
Yes.
to decide on a light version for the workbook, in a digital way. But we are still in the discussion how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like a collaborative place to gather
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
information that then
Yeah.
you can then play back for everyone to
Yeah,
see.
and to read it
Yeah.
out, because Gabriele also said it's a hard time to write the report for administration too. And so you have at least one tool to kind of put it in and then read
Yeah.
it out and sort it out and write a report about it. So this was the reason why we thought doing a light version. This version yet now for the county is really big, but to do a light version to adapt the whole digital solution, we worked for the county to do a light version and to offer it to all municipalities to use it, also to track the indicators and things like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Great. And then we've got this question from Gus. Could the ISO standard be used for the matrix for companies?
It's for the metrics, not, but the
Mm.
consultants. It could be used too. Yeah, sure. Yeah. The ISO standard for the what we have now, it's the standard for consultants, not for the metrics, but we could also use it for, we just discussed this with Luciana on Tuesday. This could be a possibility also for consultants for companies. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But not for
And
the metrics. For
Luciana's,
the metrics is
uh,
something different for us.
yeah. Yeah. I can see Luciana nodding then as well. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Oh, thank you. Any other questions for Anke?
I hope it wasn't too abstract. I can also
No.
give you some insights of municipalities if you want to, but
Yes, yes, do so,
or not.
please. Yeah.
I know. Um, and I think like Tobias, I was in the workshop of Tobias, and I think it's right to, I think it's not useful to address big cities. I think it's too hard to address them. I think it's middle-sized cities, or municipalities. And I think, for example, what Gabriela told us, they have also the small a community, a small municipality, if they have a big impact. And I like to work with smaller municipalities because it's so direct. It's the mayor says, we do this, and then the other says we do this, and it's just great to work with smaller municipalities because the decision-making process is easier, I think. And so we have, and what I think it's fun to work with municipalities because they want one. If they decide to do an ECG process, they want this. And this is really nice to work on. I think the big challenge, like we have also with companies, is the rebalancing process. So I don't know how to call it now.
That's right. Yeah.
To get the municipalities, because they have a lot of changes in political. We have elections, and so this is a hard time also for us to bring them to the second step or the further steps. So this is interesting. Yeah. And
yes, that is interesting, isn't it, with the turnover, because there'll be different relationships.
Yeah,
different
and I think
contacts.
it's like Gabriela was talking about, if you have people who want this politically and also in the kind of in the management of the administration, it's no problem. Like it's Marburg Biedenkopf. The I don't know, Landrat. I don't know the English word. It's the mayor of the county, kind of. I don't know. Is Landrat?
Regional governor.
Regional governor, yeah, the regional governor. He wants this. And they did a big campaign about ECG. So they have a movie. They have the movie of the regional governor. They have a movie where they explain the process. They have an administration campaign with posters in the cities and in the administrations of the county, of the municipalities. So they want this, and then it's working. It's great. It's really makes fun. And you see this in Postbauer Heng, if they want this and they kind of encourage the people who are working in the administration, it works. So yeah.
Yes, and then it ripples out, as Gabby was saying, when the municipality is a proactive part of the movement in that way, then they're convincing all the organizations around to then take that on, as well as setting the standard for other municipalities to then say, okay, we need to be doing this as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think for in Marburg Biedenkopf, they want to be the first county to be balanced as an ECG county, and then they want to go and talk to others and convince others. So it's really nice.
Yeah, that's great. Then we have another question from Christian. How much more difficult would it be to get an ISO standard for the matrix, both the municipalities matrix and the company matrix? And I don't know if that's something you can answer, Anke.
I can't answer.
No. Yeah. I think feasible
anyway.
Technically. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure out. The project process has begun.
Yeah.
They're moving towards.
Yeah.
It's a ISO standard for these things. I talked already to a professor in Dortmund on this topic because he had this idea.
Oh, you've gone on mute, Tobias. Come back on.
Sorry, yeah, I talked to a professor when we did the balance sheet for the University of Applied Sciences, and he had this idea. He came up with this idea because he said that companies would accept this much better. And the main point is that it follows a special systematic, and the systematic for its own is also an ISO standard. So you have a special way how to order your stuff, how to organize it. It's more about reorganizing. It's the formal structure to become an ISO standard. And he was interested in this topic, so we could go further in because this is his topic. And yeah.
So the ISO standard we are using is the ISO standard for consultants. So this is another ISO standard. I do a lot of audits. I do audits for an ISO standard. And so they're kind of like when we developed the ISO standard for the consultants, we had to fulfill the standard, like the curriculum standard of the ISO approach, so we can be an ISO approach. And we had to have a group put together, a steering group put together. And so we had some regulations of the ISO standard, and also that we have to have a curriculum of 60 hours, so they can accept it as an ISO standard. So there were kind of regulations we had to fulfill that it can be an ISO standard, and it's the same procedure, I think, when we think about the metrics. So
yeah.
So the funny point is that it's different than normally you think about standards. They don't certificate the content of the but they certificate the frame.
It's the process, isn't it? Yeah.
The process has to follow a special standard. So our audit, they are now company audits are now also ISO certified, and this is this concerns the way how they do their audit, not about the content.
So we have the ISO standard is an ISO standard for consultants. Yeah. And so you can go and say, I'm an ISO certificated consultant, but the content is ECG. We decided on the content. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And the content can change, and that's good. Because it can change.
Yeah, it can change. Yeah, sure. But we have now we decided on the content, and there we were really free. It was really interesting. We didn't have to fulfill something they wanted for us from. So we decided on the content.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much. That's really insightful. Thank you, Anke.
Welcome.
Big cheers for Anke.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. So yeah, so let's have a little recap.
I will leave because I'm sitting here in this administration building, and it's so cold here, and so I excuse myself, and I will join you on Saturday. I'm more.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
You very much.
Bye. Thank you. It was really great. Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's have a little recap about what we've done today. It's been such an amazing day, right? So we've been hearing about the deepening relationships with the most promising future fit models from Christian to widen the eco-good narrative and strengthen our messaging. We've also had a really beautiful grounded meditation with Thomas, where we felt our feet rooted in the ground and the light entering our bodies. Thank you for that. We connected with each other on a very personal level in the breakouts, in a couple of different breakouts. We had the great panel discussions with Anke and Isabel, David and Tobias, and we learned about the various roles and all the different perspectives from different countries. And then we heard from David about the amazing work happening in Spain. And at the same time, we heard from Tobias about the challenges and the successes of working with the large cities in Germany. And then we had the mayor, Gabby, telling us all about the inspiring journey over the last 5 years of how they have implemented Econ Good into the post-Bauer Heng municipality, and also that ripple effect of how they've then influenced other companies and other municipalities in the area. And then Anke has shared lots of stories from the Municipalities Hub and the amazing work that they're doing there. That's really inspiring. And actually, I think there's a lot of lessons learned from that hub that we can then ripple out to the other hubs across the movement as well. So yeah, it's been an amazing, amazing day so far. Daniela, do you want to share the agenda for tomorrow? And pop it up on the screen, and we can tell you what you've got to look forward to for tomorrow.
One moment. Coming up, bear with me. Excitement. Day 2 program.
Today was all about municipalities, and tomorrow is all about companies and organizations. So we have a whole other theme for tomorrow. Great one. So yes.
All right.
Okay,
Gus,
here you go.
Yeah, great. So tomorrow, what we've got to look forward to is the Common Good Balance Sheet implementation at WeTel. So Alma's going to share that, the stories from WeTel. And then we're going to hear from Essin, FC San Pauli, on the ethical entrepreneurship and female leadership. Then we have a group activity where we're all going to get together. And then we're going to hear from Raymond Enderkirk from Greenpeace Luxembourg. And he's also the founder of Okopolis. I might not pronounce that quite right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to have this panel discussion with Raymond, with Oliver, Martina, Gualberto, and Marta and Ruth. And we're going to hear about the the different stories of their experience of working with organisations, whether they're city-owned businesses or other organisations, charities, enterprises. Then we'll have some breakouts to connect on a personal level again. And then we do have a session where we're going to do the voting. There is one proposal this year for the Delegates Assembly, and we'll have a breakout for that. And we'll also have the voting for the ICT member. And then we have an update from Dennis, though I think actually Gus might be giving that tomorrow. If you don't want to participate in the voting, because that is for delegates, that only delegates can vote, you're welcome to join that session if you want and you're interested in hearing about it. Otherwise, you can take a break. And then we'll come back together to hear from Walter Cairn about sustainability reporting in the EU. And at the same time, we have a parallel session with Monica on the Matrix. So Matrix 5.1 and Matrix 6.0. Monica's session is only in English, just so you know. Then we'll talk about city-owned businesses and how they implement Econ Good. And we'll hear that from Oliver. And then Daniela is going to give us an update on label and branding. And then we're going to hear from Greenpeace. And Raymond is going to share more stories about Greenpeace and how they're collaborating with Econ Good. And then we'll summarize for the day and we'll connect at the end of the day with the networking, as we will at the end of every day. So that's our plan for tomorrow. So now we have a chance to connect on a personal level. And we thought we'd set up some breakouts by language again, so that you can chat and connect and meet each other across the movement. You can jump between rooms if you want. We'll leave the rooms open for an hour. If you need them longer, we'll come in and see if you're still chatting and you want to leave them open longer. We can